Moscow should get ready just like other Russian cities for that matter, indeed without exception.
The action is now steadily approaching just as that very ghoul had always wanted after all.
Ukraine has been given carte blanche by the West. Ukraine has received the green light to strike deep into Russia with Western weapons. This sensational news was officially announced by German Chancellor Friedrich Merz a few days ago.
There are now no longer any restrictions whatsoever on the range of weapon systems that can be supplied to Ukraine, not from the British, not from the French, not from us, and not from the Americans either. This means that Ukraine can now defend itself, including by striking military targets that are located on Russian territory. Until recently, it did not have this capability.
According to Merz, the restrictions were lifted several months ago. It's quite possible that this is exactly the reason why things have been so intensely heated in Russia lately.
What is going on? I just don't understand anything right now. It's right next to my house. It's just... this is just some kind of... what kind of nightmare is happening?
What does lifting the restrictions mean? Did Trump really also give the green light for strikes on Moscow and beyond? And how will all the Russians react to this now that they're waiting for more strikes? All this and more coming up in just a moment. Russians immediately reacted to the statement from the German Chancellor. As expected, they didn't like the prospect of Western missiles striking their territory at all. Once again, they are blaming everyone but themselves for dragging out the ceasefire.
These potential decisions, if such decisions have indeed been made, are absolutely at odds with our aspirations for a political settlement.
But while Peskov continues to stick to the line of accusations, Lavrov has decided to take a different approach. The head of the Russian Foreign Ministry openly began to threaten Germany.
Direct involvement in the war is already obvious. Germany is sliding down the same slippery slope that it already went down a couple of times in the last century towards its own downfall. I hope that responsible politicians in this country will ultimately draw the right conclusions and put a stop to this madness.
But the best thing about official statements is that you can't take them back. Germany and other Ukrainian allies undoubtedly expected such threats and accusations. So, as the Russian dictator used to say,
Well, whether you like it or not, endure it. My duty, you have to go through with it. There's no other way.
and there will be a lot to endure. If you don't believe it, you can of course ask the Russian invaders. They've already experienced the true power of Western missiles for quite a considerable amount of time.
That's how Storm Shadow hits. Look at the beam, it just... really. Did you see that? The tank was split into atoms.
Here's another important detail from the German Chancellor. Merz previously stated that Germany will officially classify information regarding any future arms deliveries to Ukraine as confidential.
I think everyone should have done this a long, long time ago, instead of blabbing everywhere about what, when, and where things are being sent. For the Russians, it should be a surprise. Oh, it hit from 500 kilometers away. That's exactly how it should be, so they don't have time to move or adjust their logistics and so on. When the HIMARS strike started, the Russians, their logistics weren't prepared for it. They hadn't moved things back. And there were some really serious problems there. So every single time we managed to get weapons with a significantly longer range, for the Russians, it was always a real and unexpected shock. Entire arsenals were burning and exploding.
Now everything will burn even brighter. After all, Storm Shadow, Scalp, and ATACMS can reach much farther than the HIMARS, and they're more powerful. But here it's important to clarify something about the ATACMS. Merz stated that the Americans have also lifted restrictions, but at the same time, Kyiv Post is reporting something completely different. Supposedly, Trump is only seriously considering this possibility for now, but we tend to trust Merz more. So most likely the ATACMS will be used after all, and there are plenty of targets for them. ATACMS missiles have a range of up to 306 kilometers, thus 10 Russian regions could be threatened. The number of military targets is several times higher. According to analysts' calculations, we are talking about 245 military facilities, including 16 air bases. Of course, over more than 3 years of full-scale war, the Russians have relocated many facilities. Well, for example, the flight range of Russian aircraft will, in any case, remain up to 600 kilometers, and for helicopters up to 450 to 480 at most. Therefore, the Russians will be forced to keep their aircraft within the missile strike radius, and the ammunition for them will also be either at the airfield itself or somewhere nearby. Airfields are already a known target for ATACMS. Their effectiveness against such targets has long been proven. As for the Storm Shadow and Scalp missiles, their range is about 250 kilometers. They will have slightly fewer targets than the ATACMS. Even that will be enough. It will be more interesting if German TAURUS missiles arrive in Ukraine with a range of 500 kilometers, meaning hello, Moscow. When Merkel was asked about supplying TAURUS missiles, she answered,
Of course, it's within the realm of possibility.
At the same time, the German Chancellor noted that these long-range missiles require several months of training for Ukrainian soldiers, but who knows, maybe Ukrainian fighters are already prepared. In any case, lifting the restrictions on strikes with Western weapons is excellent news. Even if we are only talking about the weapons that Ukraine currently has,
permission to strike is already, serious, because it wasn't there before. And now this shows that, so to speak, there is a bit more determination than there was before.
what happens next, only time will tell. Perhaps the TAURUS missiles will really arrive soon, but most likely we'll find out about it at the same time as the Russians do. The only difference will be our emotions. Write in the comments where you think Western missiles should be launched first, and don't forget to like this video. And be sure to subscribe to the Arsenal channel so you don't miss any of the most interesting updates.